So in terms of the evaluation and the critical reflection component of it, here what I wanted to focus on was kind of looking at drawing in some of the Vygotskian concepts. So thinking about Ella and what she did and how I could link this to theory. And so I did mention that earlier. One of the theories that I want to focus on was the Vygotskian theory, especially around the imaginary situation. Some of the work that Vygotsky's done and that has been cited and developed by others very much looks at the power of the child in being able to change what they see from what they call the optical lens to be able to change the meaning to something else. So whether it be a phone becomes an aeroplane or a cup becomes a house. At the same time, I also used the Vygotskian concept of the zone of proximal development in terms of assessment. So I wanted to understand what is the learning distance, so to say, between the starting point and the ending point. What can Ella do in order to plan learning sequences? And then now that I've planned them and done them, well, where is Ella now? They were the key parts that I had in my evaluation, linking to Vygotskian theory and comparing the start and end point of my data. Is there anything else I need to consider for the assignment?
For the assignment, yes, there is. Evaluation is actually divided into two parts. So what you've talked about is part one, and then evaluation and reflection of the program and the learning experiences you've provided for the child or the children as part of that planning cycle, which is really good. And then there is a second part to the evaluation in the assignment where I asked the students to provide two scenarios that demonstrate their effectiveness their practice of evaluating their effectiveness of their teaching and demonstrating its impact on children's learning, which is a little bit what you were talking about how what you had done had impacted Ella's learning. So asking the students to pick two scenarios, two events that happened that they can use to discuss particularly their role as the teacher.
So, Mel, were there any other words of wisdom you'd like to impart in relation to this task?
For each section of the planning cycle, it's a part of the assignment, and keeping each part together. So trying to provide evidence for each part of the planning cycle from what you have done in your practices on placement, and having that evidence within that section of the assignment so that the reader doesn't have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the appendix every time you talk about, oh, this is evidenced in figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and making sure that all your evidence is clearly labelled. And if you have included it, you have discussed it in the text that you've added to it. So they're probably the key things I think that I wanted to add.
Hey, well, that's been super helpful. Thank you so much for your advice here. And if I have any questions, obviously your discussion forum is the place to go for all things capstone assessment. Great. Thanks so much, Mel.
Thank you.
Thank you.